Greetings, YouTube. Firstly, I'd like to thank everyone that's subscribed to my channel. I'm not really sure why you want to listen to me, but I appreciate that you do. I listen to NPR every day on the way to work and the way home from work. And last night on the way to work, there was a news piece about the election in Afghanistan and the fact that there's quite possibly a whole lot of votes that are being called into question, like maybe as many as a third of them. And as part of this report, the interviewer was talking to some farmers, just ordinary everyday farmers, about what their opinions about the state of the election was. Did they trust the election? Did they think that their vote counted, kind of thing? And he originally started talking to an onion farmer and caught him in the act of actually pruning weeds out of his onion fields and asked him to call over some of his friends. So it was kind of an impromptu little meeting there in their field. And during the conversation, their biggest concern seems to have been corruption, and I can very much understand that. It's one of the biggest concerns I have in politics, and I live in arguably the most powerful nation on the planet. But one of the farmers made an interesting point. He said that he felt that democracy will not work in a Muslim country. Now, he didn't elaborate on this. It was pretty much the only statement he made. He said it 2 or 3 different times in different ways. And I started thinking about it. And what it's really coming down to is, I think he was saying that if you follow sectarian law, that then you cannot follow or be involved in secular law. Now, he may have not used those words, but I think that was the gist of his comment. That you can only follow one, sectarian or secular law, but you can't follow both. Now, I disagree with this. I'm a firm believer that you can have a religious belief, a spiritual belief, and still participate in the secular world as a full-fledged member of it. But since I am not a member of an organized faith, of a hierarchical faith, of a faith with a codified book of rules and behaviors and mores, maybe I fall outside the purview of that topic. Maybe I'm not a good example. Maybe I can follow my spiritual beliefs and adhere to secular law at the same time because I don't have that holy book to follow. Because I don't have an imam or a rabbi or a priest telling me what I should or should not do. And I am not a member of an organized church or temple or mosque where my fellow citizens might judge me if I don't adhere to the rules and codes and mores of that holy book and the teachings of my holy leader. But frankly, that's a really depressing thought. The thought that anyone that is a member of an organized religion cannot participate in the secular world. And I have to say, I have to disagree with that. I have to hope, I have to dream that it is not necessary to only follow one type of law. Now, I know many, many people participate in the democracy of America, or arguably the democracy of America, that are spiritual, that are religious, that are members of organized churches, and yet they still feel that there is no schism between, I hate that word, between secular and sectarian law. That there is no fight for their soul, so to speak. And it isn't necessarily a matter of compartmentalizing their two aspects of their lives. They don't have to say, well, over here are my secular beliefs and over here are my sectarian beliefs. I think you could have your spiritual and religious beliefs permeate your entire life. At the same time, you also adhere to the secular laws of the society that you live in. I don't think they're mutually exclusive. I don't think they have to come into conflict. Now, maybe it is that this man, raised in a completely different environment, in a country that's been at war for 30 years, in a country that's been invaded multiple times by entire nations, that's been torn apart internally because of the Taliban. Maybe this man, from this perspective, he can only see that black and white worldview, that either I'm with the holy book I worship, or I'm with the government of Afghanistan. I hope he's wrong. I hope that they can find a common ground in that nation, that the effort that's being put there by U.S. troops and British troops and all the other nations that have contributed effort to this, who have put their lives at risk, who have paid for this man's right to vote with their lives, I'm hoping that all that effort is not being wasted. I'm hoping that he will come to realize that you can find your whole soul, find your heart in your faith, and yet still follow your logic and your reason in the secular world. That you can walk in both worlds. That you don't have to choose. That one is not opposed to the other. That there is only a dichotomy between them if you choose that there is a dichotomy between them. But if you accept that you are the totality of both your sectarian and secular beliefs, that you can be in a democracy, that you can cast your vote, that you can expect good government, and you can still be religious, spiritual, and one with your God.